DuckTales is not a franchise I have any sort of nostalgia for. I never watched the show regularly growing up due to not having cable, but I got the movie I would rewatch often. As a result, I never played the DuckTales NES game released in 1989 by Capcom before making this review video. I never had the desire to play it with it being a licensed game, even if Capcom made it. But thanks to our channel backers, I was finally shown the light. Scrooge McDuck is on a quest to obtain 5 hidden treasures to expand his wealth. Scattered across the globe and moon, Scrooge will overcome all obstacles to make the treasures his. With some help from friends, Scrooge's quest begins. The story content of DuckTales is light, with a basic summary of events given to players in the original instruction booklet. A few in-game text box interactions and text-based cutscenes are also present. While there isn't much here, it gives players enough to understand what's going on throughout the game. DuckTales is a non-linear action platformer that has players assume the role of Scrooge McDuck. The game is broken up into 5 levels, which I am told are based on locations from the show that players can take on in any order. Levels are maze-like with multiple branches to explore to find the right path to the boss room of each area so you can collect the treasure within. Each room is filled with obstacles or enemies to overcome and numerous treasure boxes or gems to increase your money reserves. Enemies found throughout each level fit the theme, with a few Beagle Boys thrown in for variety. Numerous items can be found just by simply passing an area to spawn them. Additional secret areas can be found throughout the game that offer players extra lives, bonus treasures, or health upgrades, rewarding exploration and keen-eyed players. Traversing these areas was my main highlight as I prepared to do this review. DuckTales has simple and wonderfully responsive controls. Scrooge moves easily with the D-pad and jumps have excellent control, ensuring you go exactly where you want to at all times. Scrooge is only equipped with this cane throughout the runtime of the game, and it functions for both movement and combat. By pressing down and B while in the air, Scrooge will utilize the cane as a pogo stick, allowing for higher jumps and the ability to cross hazardous terrain. It can also defeat most enemies when landing on them. Certain segments will require you to activate and deactivate the ability quickly to avoid harm. Numerous block types found in each level can also be moved or destroyed by the cane, leading to new paths or creative ways to dispatch enemies. Familiar characters are found in most levels, and by helping them out, you'll be rewarded with level hints or other helpful abilities like refilling your health. The hints are particularly welcomed, as I doubt I would have bothered checking for invisible walls otherwise. Launchpad also makes an appearance and gives Scrooge the option to return home mid-level, and often acts as a checkpoint for you to respawn at if you die. Returning home has strategic advantages, such as getting the most money possible out of a playthrough. Once you beat a level, you can't replay it, outside of certain situations, thus leaving you unable to explore for more treasure. By using Launchpad though, the level resets and all treasure and chests can be collected again, effectively doubling your cash. Bonus treasures are not included in the reset though. If your current cash on hand meets certain requirements, you might get a chance at a bonus stage while returning home with Launchpad to get even more gems. The bosses found throughout the game work within the context of the levels they are found in. None are incredibly difficult to take down, but some are harder than others. Each will also require you to learn a pattern for the best chance of success. The Space Rat is the one I would consider the hardest based on my limited playthroughs. After dispatching each, you are rewarded with the final chest containing that level's treasures and a $1 million boost to your money reserves. After defeating the 5 stages, you could take on the final boss of the game, who was unfortunately less difficult than expected. Depending on your final money count after defeating him, you will receive one of 3 different endings. The different endings are achieved by having $0, under $10 million, or above $10 million. Audio work for DuckTales makes good use of the NES hardware. The title screen greets players with a fun 8-bit rendition of the DuckTales theme. Levels have great songs to listen to as you progress through them. Sound effects are cartoony and fit well within the game. Nothing gets annoying even after multiple playthroughs, which isn't always the case with 8-bit titles for me, so I appreciate the work that went into DuckTales audio. While the audio work is nice, it is the visuals that caught me off guard as I played through the game. Each sprite and environment is exquisitely detailed, and now one of my favorite visual showpieces for the system. Little animation like Scrooge's hat catching up to him as he ducks further elevate the fine details found throughout the game. The only downside visually comes from NES sprite limitations. As you jump, you will often end up in the HUD area at the top of the screen. Life bar and remaining time will flicker and disappear, which can be distracting. It doesn't ruin the game, but it shows that it is a product of its time. During the 4 completions of the game I did before making this review, there was only one thing that drove me nuts. Getting hurt while trying to pogo off a boss while it was in an invincibility frame. If I land on an enemy in iframes, I would expect to just bounce off of it, dealing no damage. Instead, you get eaten and damaged by it, which has cost me a few lives as a result. Worst of all is that I did have one instance where I bounced off an iframe boss, which makes the whole thing that much more frustrating. To a lesser degree of problematic, there are numerous places in the game where collision might be a bit odd, resulting in extra damage if you aren't careful. It should also be known that the part where you jump from Launchpad in the Amazon level is ridiculously dumb, since the bee enemy that spawns from either side of the screen nails you almost every time. Enemies respawning the second you move a pixel back into their area might also be cause for annoyance to some. DuckTales doesn't have the most replayability after your initial playthrough. The game does offer 3 difficulty levels for you to put yourself to the test with 3 available endings. I have to say the difference between normal and difficult are incredibly minor, with only a few health pickups being removed and the complete removal of magic coins being all I noticed. If you are a fan of the Retro Achievements service, there are some challenging inclusions in the DuckTales set that will keep you grinding the game for a while. In 1990, Capcom released a separate version of DuckTales for the Game Boy. This version shares gameplay with the NES version, but levels were completely redesigned to better fit the Game Boy screen. Levels lose much of their background detail, but sprites remain great to look at. In 2013, WayForward released an HD remaster of DuckTales that gives the game a complete revamp. More story content and voice work was added, and character sprites and backgrounds were completely redone to fit into the HD age. 2 additional levels are also available to explore. In 2017, the original 8-bit version of the game was released for PC, PS4, and Xbox One as part of the Disney Afternoon Collection, making it the easiest way to experience the game today. I want to thank my backers for choosing DuckTales for this review, as I have been missing out on it for over 30 years without even realizing it. While on paper it looks like licensed game nonsense, it is an enjoyable game that is quick to learn and get through. The development pedigree that was behind it at Capcom was also shocking to learn about. If you are like I was and have no interest in DuckTales because of its licensed roots, ignore that and give it a shot, as you will likely enjoy it too. So those are my thoughts on DuckTales for the NES. I am sad that I have missed out on this for the last 30 plus years. This is really fun, but I mean, to be fair, I didn't really actually own an NES until 2016, but anyway, thank you again to our backers for voting for DuckTales this week. We will be back next week with another retro review voted on by our channel backers. So again, if you want to get in on that, you can join our channel and be a part of that in the Discord. But anyway, here at the end, just the usual favors to ask. If you haven't already, thumbs up, thumbs down, depending on how much you like this video, and hit that sub button notification bell so you can see when more videos go live on the channel. And then again, if you'd like to further support the channel, join button here on YouTube or Patreon link in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. Every little bit helps, and you get to be a part of choosing these reviews once again. And of course, just the biggest shout out to all of our current backers. Again, thank you, and just thank you for supporting us. But until next time, my wonderful internet peeps, you all stay awesome, keep on gaming, and we'll see you all back next video.